Welcome back to Municipal Stadium, Larry Kelly Field. Billy Gahagan, Steve Allen, and Rocky Yoakum. It's SEABREEZE 17, Deltona nothing. This is a district contest for these two schools. Coach Yoakum, Deltona started out the game with a very nice drive. They're missing their kicker and punter. SEABREEZE got the ball for their first possession. Started at Deltona's 2-yard line. They ultimately had a kick, a 21-yard field goal. Not quite the start that you were expecting for SEABREEZE when you get the ball that close, but they have to be happy with their 17-0 halftime lead.
Yeah, exactly. I think Deltona is, they stood up well. They moved the ball a little bit. They kind of had a goal line stand to get things going. But SEABREEZE got the field goal, and once they got out in the midfield, like Coach Allen said, that their spread offense seems to work much better. I would bet, well, I wouldn't bet a lot, but I would think that the next time SEABREEZE gets down inside the 5, they may just stay at their spread offense and try to run the football or pass it from that, as opposed to trying to bring in their big personnel and letting Deltona jam it up. But I think that this is kind of the mentality of the two programs. I think SEABREEZE expects to go to the state playoffs, and I think they're going to expect to win. And, you know, Deltona is playing hard, but I don't think they have any tradition to lean back on and say, we can get this done, we can go ahead and we can be a playoff team.
Coach Allen, it's obvious that the heart and soul of this Deltona team is their youth. They're led by a whole bunch of sophomores. Impressed by them so far?
Yeah, they've made some plays, and they've also left some plays out there, but they're not going to be able to you know, they had the botch kick. They've given SEABREEZE short fields, which you don't need to do that, provide that for SEABREEZE, especially with their quarterback coming back. And you can't give up. Every week we talk about turnovers and big plays, and you know, they housed them from, what, 61, I guess, and you're just not going to win football games against programs that you perennially have not beaten by doing those types of things. So they've got their work cut out for them here in the second half, and we'll see what the SANDCRABS dial up here, but I agree with Coach. I think they're going to stay in their spread stuff, their more traditional offense. I know that Coach Beach is much more comfortable calling plays from that and having the weapons that he is accustomed to have, namely a quarterback who can get those things done. It's a quarterback-driven offense.
Coach Yoakum, touchdown passing, touchdown rushing, a field goal. Jeremiah Wilson has played pretty well. Yeah, would you say that the rust has been shaken?
I think so. Yes, you know, he may still have some things to do, but yeah, he had to have some nerve. This is his first game of the season, and you know, after having to stand on the sideline all that time, but I think he's picked up the spirits of his teammates as well.
1 minute and 20 seconds to go before we start the second half of this district contest. It's SEABREEZE 17, Deltona nothing. Coach Allen just kind of taking a gander in front of us. Are you surprised, disappointed, shocked, whatever, by the few people that are in the stands?
Done it too long, Bill. Fans are fair weather, and you know, those same people that are patting you on the back when you're 5-1 or stabbing you in it when you're 1-5. They're not going to show up and support, and that's why you don't cater to those folks, and you do what you do for your program and make decisions based on what's good for your kids and for your program. Because those people that are, if you're, you know, I don't ever recall coaching in a football game and turning around and paying a whole lot of attention about how many came or who came or anything really that anybody had to say to me from the back. As long as they paid to get in, you know, if they were standing on the bench, maybe, but other than that. So I don't think that's a real big factor in it, but I do know and I understand the dynamic of it.
Coach Yoakum?
1982, SEABREEZE High School went to the state playoffs for the first time in 17 years, and we played Auburndale at home, and Auburndale brought 6 or 7 Greyhound buses full of fans, and you could have fired a shotgun in the home stands and not hit anybody. And it's as much as we want this to be a community gathering place, the city of Daytona Beach just doesn't really rally. There'll be, you know, this place will be full for Mainland SEABREEZE, but here's a playoff game that really, really matters, and you know, there's not very many people here, and that's a shame. I always hated it for the kids. When I was a really young coach, I had enough of an ego that it bothered me a little bit, but after I got past that, I just hated it for the kids because they work so hard and they come out to perform, and you'd like to see more people out here watching them play.
17-0 your score. SEABREEZE leading Deltona. The Wolves will kick off to start the second half. Back deep to receive for SEABREEZE, Rashad Floyd and Javier Sylvester. We've seen a little bit more out of Rashad Floyd tonight than we have seen in the games in the past.
Looks a little more confident tonight. They've got him going a little bit. And, you know, anytime you're a wide out and your quarterback comes back, you know, obviously the issues have been not being able to distribute the ball from the quarterback position in a quarterback-driven offense. So, and we've seen in his body language his frustration, and then, like Coach pointed out, his lack of hustle. And, yeah, I think that he's been awakened. I think we saw in the little penalty that we had down here, and then they hit him on the screen. Then he brings it back and levels off and finishes a big run. So you can kind of see he feels a little bit better about things.
Set to kick off for the Wolves is their kicker. That's Fusa Habib. He'll be kicking off for the Wolves. The SEABREEZE return men will be at the 20 and 15-yard line.
Coach, having said that, though, I would kick, if I were going to kick the ball deep, I would kick the ball to 2 and not 4.
Or 11.
There you go. He's going to crease him.
R.J. Stokes.
That was close.
On the return, he's going to take the ball up to the 50-yard line where the SANDCRABS will have 1st and 10 to start the second half. R.J.'s
one of the SEABREEZE sophomores that those guys really like. They think that he's got some potential to help them down the road.
Jeremiah Wilson will come back out under center for the Crabs. He will be joined in the backfield by Javier Sylvester. As you hear the roar of the motorcycles in the background during this Biketoberfest.
We're going to go rally to that and make sure, I'll tell you that. That has lateral written all over it.
Yeah, just up to that side judge, I guess, to make that call, and he called it forward passing complete, but very close to being a lateral fumble.
Nonetheless, it'll be second down for the SANDCRABS.
Here, this formation's been run left most, run right away from the trips formation as far as the running game, and faked it and then through the screen.
Tell you what,
to Floyd.
That is a football tackle out there, Coach. That is a great play. He doesn't make that play, that might go. Jeremiah does a great job of getting that ball out there. That thing had a bat down written all over it at the line of scrimmage.
Number 25, D'Eric McKinney on the stop. I'll do that for you, Coach Yoakum. He's a sophomore.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Another bloodline, cousin of Corey McKinney. Great wide out that played at D-Land and also, I believe, at FIU.
Run left.
Sylvester on the carry. He's going to get behind one of his offensive linemen.
Coach, that's Ryan Fulcher. Yeah, he did a nice job of getting up in there as Coach called it. He saw it. You usually have one that's going to bang or kick and one that's going to lead up through there, and you got the move, your linemen that you kind of get them to do the things that they do best.
Coach is going to go for this here on 4th and 4.
The ball's going to be resting at the Deltona 44-yard line.
Going back to the heavy package with Summers at quarterback.
Quarterback ought to run off right tackle. He'll have a play.
I think Sylvester's going to get he's going to go across the 40 down to about the 39.5. That's going to be enough for a first down. Wilson will come back onto the field for the SANDCRABS 1st and 10.
Really throws a nice ball, comes out of his hand nice, it's tight, and other than the second quarter one that he overthrew over there on that right sideline, I think he's pretty much been on spot on.
Yes, he has. Yeah, he gets the ball out of his hand quickly, too.
Anthony Blake on the reception for the SANDCRABS.
You can see a comfort level in the SEABREEZE offense tonight that we've not seen so far this year, understandably.
Sylvester on the carry.
Coach Cahagan, I give Coach Beach a hard time about never having lost a starting quarterback, and it seems like SEABREEZE in Mark's tenure, and there's nothing against them, it's just the way they play and they run their quarterback. But if you think back over the last 15 years, basically, I guess Mark's been there 15, 18 years, they've lost a number of quarterbacks to injury.
Yep.
Dan Auer.
Dan Auer got hurt. Matt Thompson's been hurt. Jeremiah's been hurt.
Saffin was, who was it? Was Saffin?
Will Saffin. Wilson checks off. Here comes Summers.
Nobody there.
Summers will keep the ball, go up the heart.
Coach, I think I might have just handed it to him and just let him take a shot there.
Yeah.
Because it did not look like they had anything on the edge there.
I don't think that was a read option. I think that was predetermined,
You're probably right.
There wasn't much of a mesh.
DJ Johnson with the one-handed stop for Deltona. It'll be 4th down, and we're going to call it 4. They went for it for the first time. I'm sure they're going to do it again. Wilson is going to be under center for this 4th down.
And I would like to give it to number 4. And he needs to get on the other side to go where I'd like for him to go. They're just going to throw a screen here. Good read. No run and shoot play.
Might have been Sanders on the reception. Correction, that's Marcus Bullard on the reception. You can hear public address announcer Gregory Schwartz in the background, former defensive coordinator for the SANDCRABS. Wilson 1st and 10, looking to his right. He's going to throw a deep ball. He's got Bullard open in the back corner of the end zone.
Great play.
Pass is batted away. Let's see the number of the player on the coverage.
Yeah, I was completely blocked there, Coach. It was a great play.
Still can't see his number. He's got front of his jersey tucked up underneath.
It seems like if they'd run a slant arrow combination, they could just throw all day over there.
Oh, that would have been a big play. Almost comes up with it. Great job getting around the ball. That's 22, I believe, Coach. Nigel Shipman, maybe? I can't see it.
I'm going to tell you 25, Derek McKinney. So we know it's the 20s. 25.
Coaches, if I told you 6 weeks ago that we're going to get to this point in the season in the District 9 combined record of the teams in District 9 were 11 and 20, would you have believed that?
No. There's the slant arrow combination with the post off of it.
Wilson finds Blake across the middle. Pass is caught down at about the 14-yard line. Move the change for the SANDCRABS. 1st down, 7:10 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Coach, you're right. He gets it out quick, and he's got velocity.
Guys, he's also the catcher on the baseball team.
They probably don't steal on him a lot.
Wilson going to give the ball to Sylvester. He's got nothing but running room. Touchdown, SEABREEZE High School.
He's had some tough sledding this year and done some good things for him. I'm glad to see him have some success.
Well, you know, that pass offense out there to the edges is really opening things up for tonight, and that's the way it's designed to work, and it's working that way tonight.
Hayworth in to attempt his 3rd point after. Yes, sir. 6:52 to go in the 3rd quarter. SEABREEZE extends their lead to 23-0. We'll be right back. showed them. 6:52 to go in the third quarter. SEABREEZE 24-0 following the Hayworth point after. Sammy gets his foot into the ball. Drives the return man into the end zone. Deltona will have 1st and 10 for their first possession of the second half at their 20-yard line.
I think Sammy's enjoying the kickoffs and the extra points a lot more than he enjoyed all the punts that he's had to this point in the season. It's got to be a little more enjoyable.
Has he punted yet tonight?
No, sir. That's what I enjoy watching him do. He is third in the area and punting at 39.3 is his average, but kicking-wise, he was 6 of 7 coming into this game, now taking him 7 of 8 on field goals. He had only attempted 6 extra points.
Well, speaking of attempts, I looked at those stats today, and Brother Hayworth has 34 punts, and that is a big number.
Right.
Uncharacteristic.
He has just as many punts as Baudette from Mainland has point afters. I mean, the kicking numbers are crazy in this area.
Says it all right there in the District 9 race.
And SEABREEZE, or Mainland has 7, soon to be 8. Just got a text that they're leading 30-0 down in New Smyrna. So they're going to have 8 of those, what's soon to be 12 or 13 wins. They were up 30-0 at one point in their game, down with the New Smyrna Beach Barracudas.
Not a surprise at all. Coach called that. It's just they just outman people. You're gonna have a tough time stacking up personnel-wise with those guys.
1st and 15. Lane under center. He's going to roll to his right. Under a lot of pressure. That's Will Roth bringing him down. It's going to be a tackle for a loss / sack. It'll be 2nd down and 13.
I think Lane will as he...
Oh, we got a little extracurricular, Coach.
Do we? Well, that's what happens sometimes when things get out of hand.
Ironically, that's Chase Hamilton.
Father Sean Hamilton I was visiting with at halftime. Fine young man.
SEABREEZE has done a nice job. Will Roth, Zipper, they've done a nice job of containing Mr. Lane.
And what I was going to say was I think Mr. Lane will figure out as he gets older just to put his foot in the ground and go. He's too hesitant back there before he takes off.
Miles in a float motion. Lane's going to throw to him out of the backfield. Just too high. Pass will fall incomplete. Bring up 3rd down for the Wolves.
I think he threw it. I think it was well enough thrown to be caught. Got to come up with those plays.
Well, when you're down 24-0, I mean, these are plays that you have to make, period.
Absolutely.
Officials timeout for water. Gorgeous night in Daytona Beach. We will take a break as well. 24-0 your score. SEABREEZE leading Deltona. .5:39 to go in the third quarter. SEABREEZE 24, Deltona nothing. Billy Gahagan, Steve Allen, and Rocky Yoakum from Municipal Stadium and Larry Kelly Field. 3rd down and long for the Wolves. That again is going to be Cameron Miles on the carry. Not enough. That's going to bring on the punt team for Deltona.
Deltona's going to a little different, more conventional tight end type offense here. I don't know if the coach is just trying to get himself out of the game. But this has been a dicey team for them all night from the start with the bad snap and They got a good bounce on the first punt, and after that, he's kind of got a toe-up thing going on. It's not traveling very far. Giving SEABREEZE some short fields tonight. Good snap.
Ball's going to be down by the Wolves at their 44-yard line. SEABREEZE will get their second possession of the second half.
Coach, we were talking about the games that we have, our area games, and I think it's still interesting that Flagler Palm Coast, with only one loss and playing tonight, in essence for the district championship, is still nowhere to be found.
If they can win tonight, they'll find them.
They'll find them, yep. Because that's the number 2 team in 6A, and I had an opportunity to talk to Marty Lee today. He said it's the best football team he's ever coached. But he's minus his 2 best wideouts. Hello. Nice job staying alive, but...
You're welcome. A Wolf or 2 shaking up on the play.
That's Austin Muller in at quarterback.
Mr. Muller has now joined us. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You're up 24-0, kids' first game back. Although he needs the live action, I mean, you can't fault them for taking that.
Oh, yeah, get him out unscathed. Absolutely. He's done his job tonight, and he's given them some opportunity and done a good job.
Got illegal procedure against the SANDCRABS. Not sure what it was, but it's definitely a dead ball foul.
Jeremiah is definitely walking around without his helmet, and that could be his night. Muller running the option, is going to pitch the ball near side. That's James Hicks on the carry. Nice play defensively by the Wolves.
It's number 17, Marquise Gray. Good open field tackle. The Wolves have made some good open field tackles tonight. I think they've got a future. I think they're young kids. They've got a good nucleus. And I think Coach Johnson's got them going.
I just hope they'll keep Coach Johnson. I hope he'll stay hooked up with them, and they need some consistency.
Absolutely, Coach. A lack of support and stability there. And like I said, we mentioned earlier, the 9 coaches that have been there since '94. And
Muller keeps the ball, and he's brought down.
I'm going to guess that's the free safety on the tackle, number 9.
Brought down at the Deltona 40 by the free safety, number 9, D. Bruton.
Hey, and they're going to force their first punt.
Hayworth will be standing at his 46-yard line.
Nice job of dropping the point of the ball. Will it back up for him? No.
Kicked it too far, didn't he, Coach?
Just about 5 yards too far out. The techniques of the punters have changed since you were punting, haven't they, Coach Gahagan?
Just a little bit. That whole nose down thing, and
you see it all. You see it everywhere. You see it everywhere.
I'm glad they didn't have this whole rugby punt thing while I was a punter.
Right, because you would have probably been a guard on the punt team.
I would have definitely said, tap the old helmet. Deltona will have the ball first and 10 at their 20, trailing 24-0, 3:10 to go in the third quarter.
Coach Gahagan, what were your measurables your senior year in high school? How big a lad were you?
I was tiny. I was about 230 pounds, 240, no different than I am right now.
Right.
3 minutes and counting. We're just going to leave all that alone. Hey, you sit there. I'll help myself out, Coach Oakham. I appreciate that.
Coming from the east to the west.
Gain of 3 on the play, 2nd and 7. .240 to go in the third quarter. It's Marquise Lane, still under center. Going to hand the ball off.
Ooh, that could be close. Oh, nope.
Trey Williams on the carry. Steps out of bounds, or is helped out of bounds anyway. Enough yards to pick up a first down.
Got a little something positive going here. Stop them, make them punt the ball, and manage a first down.
SEABREEZE comes off the edge.
I think that you're right. I think with that guy coming off the edge, the quarterback could pull the ball. Even if that guy's playing the quarterback, he can't tackle him.
I don't think he can.
Trey Williams on the carry for Deltona. Second down and 8 from the 33-yard line. Lane looking. Just going to keep it. Finally has an open receiver. That's Cameron Miles out of the backfield. A lot of yards picked up. He'll be at midfield, 1st and 10 for Deltona from the 50.
Coach, great job by SEABREEZE disrupting the routes on the top side and giving him nowhere to throw. And just a super job by Lane just extending the play and finding an open receiver.
Yeah, I watched the linebacker that had the back on the swing, and when he saw Lane start to duck up inside, he left his man and went inside. And Lane had his eyes downfield and made a nice throw.
Hard thing to coach kids. When to come, when not to come, when to give up coverage. You know, you don't give up a big play to stop a small play.
Right.
You know.
Right. Keep the ball in front of you.
Hello, we've got number 54 here. Freddie Policio is giving one of the SANDCRABS the business there. You just like to see kids getting after it. You know, you're down 24-0, and your young kids are still playing hard. Basically you're building for the future with every one of these plays and every one of these series. I don't think the Deltona kids have been intimidated or scared in this. I just think it's just a matter of experience and history.
Yep.
Second down for the Wolves. Lane. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That could have been two-hand touch, Coach, and he wouldn't have been down right there.
That's right.
Takes the ball down to the 33-yard line of SEABREEZE. Deltona's got something going.
His brother had that same ability to be able to get skinny on the upfield cut and just kind of slide his hips through.
Well, I've seen him do that half a dozen times or more tonight.
Crabs are getting Dunnigan off the field here.
Miles on the carry. He's going to get tripped up at the line of scrimmage. That should take us to the end of the third quarter. And it will officially. 24-0 your score. SEABREEZE leads Deltona in this district matchup. Playoff lives are on the line for both schools. We'll be right back. the start of the fourth quarter. Deltona on the move.
There we go.
Nigel Shipman on the carry. He's going to pick up many, many yards. Move the chains. 1st and 10 for Deltona. Now down to the SEABREEZE 16-yard line. 24-0 your score. The start of the fourth quarter. Billy Gahagan, Steve Allen, and Rocky Yoakum.
Shipman, he's 193 pounds, and you look at him down there on the field. It's on him very, very well. He's kind of what you'd like a running back to look like.
And he's a sophomore. Lane rolling to his left has a receiver.
Sure does.
That's his favorite target. Whether he's handing it off to him or finding him out of the backfield, that's Cameron Miles on the reception. Deltona knocking at the door.
Got it to the 2-yard line there. Good throw and catch. They've run that play a number of times tonight.
1st and goal, Deltona. Continuing their second possession of the second half.
I got to believe the coach has got some kids he can build around here if he can keep them all there. And
too many men in the backfield. Now they're going to have illegal motion.
Yeah, we've got 2 of them moving. Did they call it unblocked?
I can't.
They did not. They didn't call it. The receiver that wasn't on the line got on the line. Everybody moved. Nonetheless, it's a Deltona touchdown. 11:06.
Go for 2, Deltona.
Absolutely.
11:06.
Go for 2. Get 4 touchdowns or get 3 and make all the 2-point tries.
And I'm sorry, but I did not see who the ball carrier was, but it was a rushing touchdown for the Wolves. Makes the score 24-6. Point after is definitely going to be attempted here. This is Fusa Habib. That ball just made it over.
How about it?
The crossbar. 11:06 to go in the game. Deltona finally on the scoreboard. It's 24-7. SEABREEZE in the lead.
The last time they kicked off, they just popped it up here, and I would think some sort of an onside type kick might be in order at this point.
Well, they didn't bring their punter, but they obviously brought their kicker, or did they not bring?
I think he was one and the same. I don't know.
When I talked to Coach earlier.
Well, no, actually, Habib is listed as the kicker, so must have just been the punter.
Whoever he might have been, but I know that one of those guys. Well, if he didn't make it, wow, and you could tell that there was some question on how to approach the ball.
Yes, yes, there's a little stutter in his step there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. SEABREEZE up very, very close. Return men standing at their 25-yard line.
They've got their hands, team, in the good hands, people. The guys are used to handling the ball here.
Did not the ball.
Didn't go quite 10 yards.
No, sir. That would be -2, Coach.
It's a good thing, I would imagine, that Deltona fell on that, because that's still a live ball.
Correct, and I don't believe I've ever seen that, Coach. I don't believe I've ever seen a kickoff go backwards. I've played golf with some guys who've hit it backwards, yes, but I've not seen a kick go backwards. And Coach Gahagan, no offense.
I never kicked the ball backwards, so none offense taken.
That was the golf, the golf analogy, sir.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, you didn't like it. Here you go.
There it is.
I think that hip should be clearing up good enough. You could probably go play tomorrow at 1.
Maybe.
Number 5 is back in the ball game at quarterback.
Interesting. 24-7. 17-point lead. 11 minutes and 3 seconds.
On the one scramble, I noticed you can tell he's laboring a little bit. Yep. He's favoring that wheel.
That's Sylvester, and that's a nice defensive play by the Wolves.
E.J. Johnson.
He's not a sophomore.
Yeah, he's not a sophomore. He started every ball game for us last year at Warner Christian, and like I said, a good football player, good downhill.
Loss of 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 13 for SEABREEZE.
Talking to DJ's mom, he'll be at the Stetson-Jacksonville game. He's being recruited by both of those programs tomorrow. He's got one of his teammates, Dennis Johnson, that's, Dennis Williams, that's at Jacksonville.
You're Dennis Williams?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sylvester on the carry. Down to the 36. Well, it's obvious, Coach Yoakum, that Wilson's back in to throw the ball. If they were going to hand it off, they could have done that with any one of the other guys.
Well, you know, when they took him out with 24-point lead and then the score, it's one of those deals you want to let everybody play, and you sure like to do that, but you don't want to lose the momentum either.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is, Coach. It's not about losing the game. It's the momentum part. You're exactly right.
3rd and 7. Wilson fakes the handoff. Going to roll to his right. And he's going to get tripped up by Dalton Decker, the 6'6", 340-pound defensive lineman.
I like the Decker kid. I think that he's a huge guy inside. He's done a good job. He's been a force. Much more so when they were in the power set, kind of trying to come at him a little bit, than in the spread stuff. He's just a load.
Holding the call against the Wolves. Okay.
I think it was pass play, and one of the defensive backs probably grabbed a hold of one of the receivers.
It's an effective coverage technique.
It is, if you can get away with it.
It'll be 1st and 10 SEABREEZE from the Deltona 23-yard line. 9:20 and counting here in the contest. Sylvester on the carry. It'll be a hold call.
Yes, it will.
No doubt about that one. Xavier Adams is going to get called for too much material.
The Wolves still running to the football, still hustling, still scrapping and playing, and that's got to be encouraging for Coach. Got to be encouraging. I'll let you call it, Coach Yoakum, what we're going to see here.
I think we're going to see run, run, run. That's what you'd see if I were calling it. I would run the clock. Otherwise, screen.
That's kind of where I was leaning there. I kind of think that Coach might hit him with that, possibly even a little middle screen, but they're not bringing inside pressure. No, here goes your seam. Oh! They're not going to get that one off. Here come the Wolves.
There's one run.
There's one run. That's Tyler Bosford. Tyler's a senior. We have not called him many seniors tonight.
Well, at least we know Jeremiah can still take a hit.
Yep.
Now it probably feels like a football game to him because he hasn't been hit all night.
Correct. You just have to wonder, that was one of my thoughts coming in, how confident he'll be running the ball, taking a direct shot. How's he going to feel, getting tackled? And like you said, that's the first time he's really been contacted. Okay.
Sylvester's going to get
all the way.
There's two runs.
Coach, he's quick as a hiccup.
Yes, he is.
Gain of about 25 on the play. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 11 for SEABREEZE.
McKay out and Decker back in for the Wolves defense. I think they were thinking pass right there and trying to get a smaller body in there to get some pass rush. Oh,
that's going to get called against Mr. Hinson. There's no doubt in my mind that Christian Harris moved because of Evan Henson. I could be an A1 official.
You could. From right here.
Right here.
So rather than Al Michaels-like, you could be J.J. Miller-like.
I'm thinking more like Ed Hockley.
Ed Hockley.
You're welcome.
You'd have to get out of the weight room, though.
I was going to say, they're built alike.
They are built alike.
There it is. All right.
From the east to the west, who is the best? Billy. Strike.
Wilson finds Summers inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. It'll be first and goal, SEABREEZE.
Wolves have had a tough time defending that over the top middle area behind the backers and in front of the free safety. You know, Wolves got to be concerned with SEABREEZE. You know, you don't want to give the over-the-top stuff. You got to give something up. And if that quarterback's playing, I promise you that the Crabs have plenty of ball plays to call. And they've had so many more, Coach, tonight at their disposal than what we've seen, you know, to this point in the season.
I think we'll see an improved Sandcrab offense the rest of the year as long as he stays healthy.
I agree.
Another update from down in New Smyrna Beach. The Bucks lead the Kudos 43-0. We're not sure what part of the game they're in, but you can guarantee it's almost to the end. Sylvester on the carry.
What a great run.
It sure was, Coach. Finished it. Looked like he was stopped cold, and it looked like a really good tackle, actually, and he just kept his feet alive.
Hayworth trots onto the field, and now he's coming off.
Somebody's going to have to come back on.
Could this be yet another overturned college flag play? No? Yeah.
Aiding the runner, perhaps? The thing that they never call anymore that we alluded to in the first half, and now it's been called.
Really?
Wait a minute. This is sideline.
What is that what he called? Is he called the sideline?
Yeah, watch him.
On who?
Oh, I'm sorry. He came up underneath.
Maybe that's the aiding the runner signal?
Yeah, that's what
He came from underneath. He didn't come. The first time JJ did it was from the side.
I'm confused. The touchdown did not count.
It appears that it did not. It is second and goal.
Second and goal, so they got to correct the scoreboard then.
Actually, they were playing. It's first and goal.
It's first and goal.
First and goal because they scored on first and goal. Penalty, replay the down. It's still 24-7.
Despite the scoreboard.
Coach Beach is calling timeout. Everybody's throwing their arms up in question. Coach Hillman wondering what's going on. JJ will now talk to his officials. Or are they taking water break? Timeout.
I believe it was timeout, you've got me at this point. Coach Gagan, I understand the Sandcrabs completed another undefeated season with their JV last night.
Yes, sir. The junior varsity finished the year 8-0. They went to Deltona and defeated the Wolves. There will be many call-ups for the Sandcrabs once this week is over.
And most of those will be call-ups from the JV parents asking Coach Beach why the JVs. They always have that divide when your JV team is winning and your varsity team is not. And Coach, I see you shaking your head, and it's like the choir is here and I'm talking to them.
Yep, that's the way it works.
Tends to be a divide. There can be, if not managed correctly, there can be a divide in your program that way, with the younger kids kind of feeling like, hey, we're this, and the older kids, they're out here battling their guts out.
I know for a fact that last night, or earlier this week, Coach Beach made the announcements as to who was moving up, and one player that was not requested to move up quit the team.
I was going to say, let me guess, he just didn't show up for the game.
Yeah, all he had to do was play a game. There were no more practices. He just had to go play in his last game, but he quit. And that's a shame.
It is a shame, but I'm not going to say that that's not indicative of this community.
That's true.
Oof.
Wilson's pass intended for Rashad Floyd
Rashad thought he was interfered with. I didn't see that much contact. But
Rashad is going to have to learn on those inside routes. You have to beat those guys with your feet, and if you cannot beat those guys with your feet, don't turn around and ask for an interference call. That's on you as a wideout.
Second and goal, SeaBreeze from the Deltona 8. Clock stopped at 6:24 remaining in the game.
Let's give it to number 4. He's had a lot of success here tonight. Oh. No interference there either.
No, sir.
Wilson overthrows Rashad Floyd on second and goal.
Missed opportunity for the Crabs there because we have a complete coverage breakdown by Deltona, and he is wide slap on the little corner route. You know, it's just one of those deals. You're trying to get guys going. You know, this guy's had a tough year. He's their go-to guy, and you're, as a coach and a play caller, you're trying to get your guys going. And they had a good play call there, and they just didn't execute.
Wilson looking for Floyd. Instead, pass is intercepted by John May. He's going to get corralled and brought down back at the original line of scrimmage.
You see why these guys are Western Kentucky FAMU are all on this kid. He's just a good-looking 6'2", 175, just long, reactive. Not a good throw, but still, the kid makes the play. You got to give him that. You got to give the Deltona defense a credit, you know, for keeping them out of the end zone here and, you know, giving themselves an opportunity to stay in the ball game.
Coach Allen Johnson. Coach Johnson has a lot to build on with these guys, doesn't he, Coach?
He does. Lots and lots of sophomores, and like I was saying earlier, I just hope they can keep some consistency. They have a young man on their coaching staff named Billy Glenn that was the head coach at Calvary Christian and played for me at SeaBreeze, and a quality individual, somebody that played at Florida State, and you know, I just hope they can have some consistency. I'd love to see all the programs in Volusia County just get better.
Coach, that's a great segue to a question that I've been thinking about for a number of weeks and haven't asked you, and I know you've had so many, and there have been a lot of great ones, but who would you tab as the greatest Crab of all time, the best football player that has played at SeaBreeze High School?
The best that's ever played there?
Yes, sir.
I'd have to think. Larry Gagner played for the Pittsburgh Steelers for quite a long time and was a great football player back in the 60s. John Parks played for me and was probably as good an athlete. His personal life has kept him from doing the things that I had hoped that he would do, but he was certainly a great football player. Oh gosh,
I knew it was a great question. Yeah, I knew it was a great question.
I got 4 or 5 that I could add to that whole conversation.
The one year we had the co-defensive player of the year in Volusia County, our 2 linebackers, John Miles and Junior Morrell, on a team that was 9-1 with Jeff Parker, who's coaching at Tennessee State, right. Sean Beckton, who's coaching at UCF.
Gaskins?
Purcell Gaskins was a great football player, but was younger than those guys.
Okay.
That was Nieves on the carry for the Wolves.
Wow, Coach. Wow, like you said before, even if he does pull it and they're coming, they're probably not going to tackle him, and he just made 2 miss right there. That's a tremendous run.
Coach, I think you got to consider some of the guys that are still playing now. Sebastian Janikowski is a name.
Coach Weems. I was so impressed with him. It's not as just a return guy or receiver, but he was a great football player. He would tackle you, would hit you. He was good on all the special teams.
That's why he's making his money playing special teams right now.
Yes, sir.
Andre Roan has to be into this conversation.
Yes,
Gene Gainey, even though he was a part-timer. I mean, the SeaBreeze list is SeaBreeze and Mainland are without a doubt neck and neck to the greats of the area coming from there. Lane on the carry. Approaching the 5-minute mark.
Well, we ought to stop and get a drink of water if that's the case, unless we've already done that.
Coach, Xavier Lee wasn't bad.
Xavier Lee, another great player.
It's okay.
You could.
Mr. Football, Mr. Football in Florida.
Yep. He's still top 10 in passing in the state.
And probably top 2 in physical stature because he was quite a good-looking young man. Backside, got it. What a great pass, Coach. What a great touch pass.
Nice touch, just led it right over the linebacker, dropped in. Number 44 doesn't look like a wide receiver, but he gets down the field and catches the ball.
Cameron Miles, he does. He's done a good job tonight. Again, another sophomore, 5'9", 190.
They could just write bowling ball in there.
You're right. It's good to see the SEABREEZE sideline and just see, the kids that have been embattled basically through the first part of the season here, and just see them have some life and getting to enjoy some success.
Williams on the carry.
What? Trey Williams.
Scrimmage picks up 8 on the play.
That happened fast, Coach.
They've got some quicks on some of those young guys.
Wow.
They've got a nice offensive line. Sir?
I'm still thinking about the names. Pepper Johnson.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was pretty good.
Yeah.
From their 45.
He's close to creasing him right there, Coach.
Yeah. Much more decisive run right there.
I'm impressed with Deltona's hustle to the line.
Absolutely.
That reminds me, I had an offensive line coach named Brent Hall one time. That was he got fired at Spruce Creek, and he called me and said, I need a job. And he was a tough guy, but he had our guys running to that line of scrimmage.
Is that the same Brent Hall that would have been at Bellevue?
Yes, sir.
Playoff game at Merritt Island. I was down watching, and I was on the field before the game, and to this day, the best thud football team I've ever seen. Before the game, they're playing thud. They've got Cody Wells. They've got a good bunch. But those guys were getting after it. They're hitting their spots. They're going full speed. The contact was good. It all stayed up, and it was over right there. And that's a tough thing to teach your football team. It's hard to play thud.
The better your players, the better chance you've got of doing that. When you get guys that are not very good athletes, they fall down, and kids get hurt.
Correct.
When but it's the way to go.
It is. It is. It's nice when you can do it.
Tommy Moore with a nice open field tackle for SEABREEZE. 2:58 just inside of 3 minutes remaining in the game. SEABREEZE leading Deltona by a score of 24-7. Deltona moving the ball. They started at their 8-yard line, and they've put together a really nice drive so far.
Very nice drive, and they're going with the things. They know they're probably not going to do anything to affect the outcome of the game, but they're still moving the ball, and good for them, good for their coaches.
Yeah, they're going to get on the bus and feel good about the way that they competed tonight, I think.
Lane's pass complete down to the 42-yard line. I think that was Hinton on the reception. Yes.
Marquise was in a class of kids at D-Land Middle that was just absolutely phenomenal. You would see these guys walking around campus. They were all tall. You could just tell that they were going to be. There was a number of just marquee players in that group. We got him on the pump and go.
He's wide open.
Oh.
Good play by the free. They're going to call interference.
They sure are, Coach. It was a great play by the free.
I'd like to see the replay on that.
Yeah, that's Ty McCall, and he makes a great play on it, but I think they're going to call the contact by the corner who was beaten on the double move.
As the boss cues up the replay, I believe that was Ty McCall on the coverage. Deltona's going to get enough yards for a first down. 2:22 to go. Here's the replay.
Might have put a hand in there.
But, you know, hey, it keeps the drive alive.
Good job by the free safety covering some ground, though.
Lane looking. Oh, nice touch pass to his running back out of the backfield. That's Trey Williams on the reception.
And R.J. Stokes with the plastic delivery.
R.J. Strokes.
I like it, Coach. I like it. I'm just a bowling. I'm Brunswick on that one for you.
Coach Oakham, you just sit there, buddy. Take it all in, man.
Well, you know, you guys talk a new language to me, and I just have to sit and try to absorb it.
But you chuckle, and that makes me feel
chuckle.
good. Lane under pressure. He's not going to escape the grass. I think that's is that Zipper. Also in on the all the times.
Coach Gagan, do I dare say with 2:08 and 24/7 that was it over when the Germans bought Pearl Harbor? Do I dare go back there?
Go ahead.
We were histrionic last week in our approach to the game.
And I think that's the one thing people get when they tune in. They get football, they get some knowledge, they get world history, they get stuff that makes no sense.
And a touch of humor.
That's it. A touch. How dare you? Coach Yoakum has more humor than just a touch. 2:08 remaining in the game. 24-7 your score. SeaBreeze leading Deltona, Billy Gahagan, Steve Allen, and Rocky Yoakum. With this, if things should stand the way they are, and there was the kiss of death, SeaBreeze will improve. But Deltona, I'm sitting here looking at it. I'm looking at this game. I'm watching it. They lost to Father Lopez. I'm wondering, is Father Lopez that much better? Did Deltona have an off night? I mean, did Deltona say it's just Father Lopez? So many things come into question when you look at a game like that.
I don't think Deltona's in a situation where they can say it's just anybody, to be honest. You know, and I don't think that Coach Johnson coaches that way. I mean, Coach Johnson at two different times at Trinity was, 11-2 and 10-2. 5 trips to the playoffs, one time as deep as the quarters. And so I think he's experienced. I don't think he would have allowed that to happen.
This penalty's more than likely going to go against SeaBreeze. Where are we at in the tally there, Coach? Or did you stop keeping track?
Well, when it seemed like it was going to be a reasonable number of penalties, I decided that would be a tally I wouldn't keep tonight. And thanks to J.J. Miller and the A1 officials, we're moving right along.
3rd down and 3. Lane gives the ball to Trey Williams. Oh, hi there. Mr. Williams, meet Mr. Stokes. I'm going to tell him that nickname on Tuesday, and he's going to love it.
Well played.
I'm going to tell him that Coach Oakham is still trying to figure it out.
That's not nice. That's not nice.
He just said he didn't know your language. Two minutes and 1 whole second remaining. SeaBreeze showing it off the corner.
Oh, well done, Coach.
Yep. Nice little play action. Stick the linebacker up and throw it right over his ear. And nice slant route by Henson, is it, number 1?
Yes, sir, number 7.
Well executed.
Still Henson.
Great ball handling.
Coach, the irony of Evan Henson, 6'4", 215-pound junior. He just started playing football last year. He has multiple basketball offers, but he's already earned a scholarship offer from Iowa State. I believe they're looking at him as a tight end, but not for nothing. Defensive end, wide receiver, he's pretty athletic.
Well, I tell you, the tight end position is just getting to be more and more of a marquee position, and sure creates some tough mismatches out there, matchup problems for a lot of defenses.
It used to be that was the most non-creative spot on the field. Basically, there was a pretty, the role was well defined. And as these spread offenses have come to fruition, the people that are using the tight ends are now the creative guys. They're finding those creative ways to use them. You know, at one point it went to the H-back, and we all, as you and I, are two-back guys, and we've all kind of done that, and we might not have called them H-backs, but we were using them the same way, and now it's kind of morphed into something different. I love to watch Bill Belichick and his use of tight ends.
And he's got some good ones.
Does he not? I mean, to tell you, that Gronkowski is something else. His quarterback's not bad either.
They're okay. Laying on second down, bobbing and weaving, thought about throwing. Good idea to just tuck it and take the loss.
Two A-gap linebackers on that play. That another thing that's kind of come in vogue of recent times is creating the pass protection problems by firing linebackers in both A-gaps or threatening to.
Yes, sir. Well, he throws it up. Underthrown.
Levin got his stroke.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He got stroked by his own player.
Yep.
His own teammate. So the pass is to the back corner of the end zone to Hinson. Falls incomplete. It'll bring up a fourth down for the Wolves with 1:26 remaining. They've gone to Hinson quite a bit. I wonder if they're ever going to go to...
We've changed quarterbacks here again. Throw the fade.
Nice ball. That just pulled right out of the end zone. And it was to a different receiver. That's Julian Delgado on the Deltona touchdown.
Well played, Deltona. Deltona is taking this thing, and people are going to pick this up in the paper tomorrow and look at it, and it's been a well-played game, but SEABREEZE has never not been in control of the game, but the outcome is going to appear a bit different than that because of the numbers, but good for Deltona. They're finding some things here. Number one, that their kids didn't quit. Number two is the coaching staff, that, hey, you found some things that you can be successful with, and then that gives the kids confidence, it gives you confidence. You know, even the people that we say we don't care about sitting in the stands, it gives them confidence that there's something to build on, and anybody that knows anything has to understand how young this football team is.
There's a bring it to the house for the two-point conversion.
Right at you, and there's our bowling ball.
I really like these guys. With the two-point conversion, the score is now 24.
I don't know why they didn't do that last time when they scored. It would be a one-score game at this point.
Correct.
24-15, SEABREEZE leading Deltona, 1:19 to go. Guys, just looking ahead for both of these teams, Coach Allen, Deltona will travel to New Smyrna Beach, host Pine Ridge, and then end the season at Umatilla. The New Smyrna Beach and the Pine Ridge games are district games, but you got to think, even though we've only seen one of those two teams, that they got to be able to win at least one of those.
Well, you'd think so, but again, knowing the kind of the inside part of that deal, one of the things that Lance Jenkins does to you is he formations the poo out of you, and you've got to make sure that your kids are in something that they can kind of stay in, and it's going to be solid against it. And I think that matchup creates a problem for them formationally to get them stopped. I think they've got kids, and I've not seen New Smyrna, but I know how Lance goes about things. So I think it's tough from that standpoint. Pine Ridge, absolutely, they will beat Pine Ridge handily.
Fusa Habib gets the kick in positive yardage this time. Coach Yoakum, SEABREEZE will go to Pine Ridge. They will then go to Mainland, even though it's going to be here, and then host Nice. They got a couple wins in there somewhere, I'm sure.
Well, Nice is appears to be a down year, and I do believe that they'll beat Pine Ridge. And the Mainland game, you know, they say you can throw out the records, but it's going to be a tough one. Don't you agree?
I'm sorry. What a setup. I was getting an updated score. I'm just being told that Atlantic defeated Cocoa Beach by a score of 40-0.
I believe I'm on record to be perfect again tonight in my picks.
I think so, and therefore I do agree.
I'd like to see the SANDCRABS go ahead and get in victory formation and just get this thing out of here.
That's right.
Or give it to 4 and let him run for 50.
On this beautiful Biketoberfest weekend.
That's number 3. That's a horse collar they're not going to call. Hurt himself, but...
It's Evan Hinson on the tackle of James Hicks. Hicks staying in bounds, keeping the clock going.
I coached a young man named James Hicks. Would this be his son?
That's a good one. I'm not sure.
I'm certain that he's somebody's son.
I'm certain that he must be.
That one just landed, folks. Thanks. Well, there will be no broadcast next week. There's no game here at the stadium. The next time we will be with you is October 31st, Halloween evening.
It'll be trick or treat for the SANDCRABS.
And I can hear the collective sigh of our audience that there will be no action next week. I feel the same. I feel like we're broken up when we don't have a game during the week.
I miss it.
I do too.
That was Hicks again on the carry. Coach Beach has already taken off his headset with 8 seconds to go. The final score, SEABREEZE 24, Deltona 15. We're going to take a quick break and have some post-game thoughts. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Municipal Stadium and Larry Kelly Field. Billy Gahagan, Steve Allen, and Rocky Yoakum. We've just completed the SEABREEZE Deltona game. SEABREEZE winning by a score of 24-15. With the win, SEABREEZE improves to 2-5 on the year, and more importantly, 2-0 in the district. Coach Yoakum, as we spoke of in the pregame, Jeremiah Wilson's return, everybody was looking forward to it. Your thoughts on how he played tonight?
I thought he played extremely well for his first ball game. Made a couple bad throws, made a bad decision on an interception late in the game, but I think he picks up everybody else out there. I thought that the whole offense moved around. I thought their body language, as Coach Allen mentioned, was just better tonight. And I think, I don't know if they've scored 24 points in a ball game this year.
No, but 17's been the most they've scored in the game. So,
I think they're going to feel good about that. They've got Pine Ridge next week, and that again should help them with their confidence, and be a nice tune-up for the mighty Mainland Buccaneers coming here in 2 weeks.
Well, it didn't start out rosy for SEABREEZE High School. They did get the ball on the Deltona 2 and ended up settling for a field goal. Was there any reason to show concern when they didn't put the ball in the end zone?
I was not concerned. I thought, they'd take a little. I was disappointed that they didn't put it in, and I think if Mark had it to do over again, he'd probably spread out the offense where they could run the ball a little bit better. But you got to give Deltona some credit right there. They bowed their neck and played a great defensive stand down there. So I wasn't too concerned, and they've got a lot of things to build on. Both teams can leave here and go to work for next week and feel good that they're improving.
Coach Allen, with the loss, Deltona falls to 1-6 on the year, 0-2 in the district for all intents and purposes. Their season will end when they go to Umatilla, but this is a young team, so I'm sure Coach Johnson is not going to be completely disappointed in tonight's outcome.
If Coach Johnson's not encouraged, I'm not sure why he wouldn't be. The number of sophomores that are out here making plays and the ability level and skill level of those sophomores I just think that they have to be encouraged on what they can build on for the future, and I don't think they're going to be discouraged riding back across to Deltona tonight and knowing that, watching the tape, that there are things that they do well. There are some things that they may have even found tonight, and the biggest thing is they competed, and they competed with a program that they've never beat, and nobody expected them to beat them except for you. Anyway, I just think that they have some things that they can be excited about, and that the football program's going in the right direction.
New Smyrna Beach tonight took on Mainland High School. Mainland was ahead by a whole bunch. So Deltona travels to New Smyrna Beach next week. It's a battle of the 1 and 6s. We haven't seen New Smyrna Beach, but you have to think that Deltona feels good for a second week in a row, because I don't think they felt that they couldn't have beaten SEABREEZE, so I have to think that they feel pretty good about next week as well.
And that's a big part in any of these football games is trying to get your kids to believe that they have a chance to win, because you can tell them all kinds of things and come up with cute motivational stuff and paint pictures and put slogans and change uniforms and do all the things that we do as coaches. But at the end of the day, those kids generally have a pretty good idea if they have a chance or not, because they're watching the tape too. And I think they will think they have a chance to win, and I think they will feel encouraged that, you know, they're not going to a situation where they're beaten before they get there. And I think coach will come back, and the challenge is keeping your young kids, keeping their daubers up throughout the week and having a good week of practice, and just continue to show them and encourage them that, hey, guys, there's a lot of things we're doing well. There's some things that we've got ahead of us, and our best football is off in the distance, and it's not right now.
No game will be webcast next week, as there's no game here at the stadium. The next time we will be on will be October 31st, Halloween evening, when SEABREEZE goes on the road to take on Mainland High School in a district game, and then we will have one more game before we talk about some playoffs. For Charlie Williams, our internet engineer, cameraman, Arden Gregory, CEO of Double D Productions, Dan Discoli, Steve Allen, Rocky Oakham, I'm Billy Gahagan. Good night, and once again your final, SEABREEZE 24, Deltona 15. Disappointed, shocked, whatever, by the few people that are in the stands?
Done it too long, Bill. Fans are fair weather, and you know, those same people that are patting you on the back when you're 5-1 are stabbing you in it when you're 1-5. They're not going to show up and support, and that's why you don't cater to those folks, and you do what you do for your program and make decisions based on what's good for your kids and for your program, because those people that are, if you're, you know, I don't ever recall coaching in a football game and turning around and paying a whole lot of attention about how many came or who came or anything really that anybody had to say to me from the back, as long as they paid to get in. You know, if they were standing on the bench, maybe, but other than that. So I don't think that's a real big factor in it, but I do know and I understand the dynamic of it.
Coach Oakham?
1982, SEABREEZE High School went to the state playoffs for the first time in 17 years, and we played Auburndale at home. And Auburndale brought 6 or 7 Greyhound buses full of fans, and you could have fired a shotgun in the homestands and not hit anybody. And it's as much as we want this to be a community gathering place, the city of Daytona Beach just doesn't really rally. There'll be, you know, this place will be full for Mainland SEABREEZE, but here's a playoff game that really, really matters, and you know, there's not very many people here, and that's a shame. I always hated it for the kids. When I was a really young coach, I had enough of an ego that it bothered me a little bit, but after I...
Welcome back to Municipal Stadium, Larry Kelly Field. Billy Gahagan, Steve Allen, and Rocky Oakham. It's SEABREEZE 17, Deltona nothing. This is a district contest for these two schools. Coach Oakham, Deltona started out the game with a very nice drive. They're missing their kicker and punter. SEABREEZE got the ball for their first possession. Started at Deltona's 2-yard line. They ultimately had a kick, a 21-yard field goal. Not quite the start that you were expecting for SEABREEZE when you get the ball that close, but they have to be happy with their 17-0 halftime lead.
Yeah, exactly. I think Deltona is, they stood up well. They moved the ball a little bit. They kind of had a goal line stand to get things going. But SEABREEZE got the field goal, and once they got out in the midfield, like Coach Allen said, that their spread offense seems to work much better. I would bet, well, I wouldn't bet a lot, but I would think that the next time SEABREEZE gets down inside the 5, they may just stay at their spread offense and try to run the football or pass it from that, as opposed to trying to bring in their big personnel and letting Deltona jam it up. But I think that this is kind of the mentality of the two programs. I think SEABREEZE expects to go to the state playoffs, and I think they're going to expect to win. And, you know, Deltona's playing hard, but I don't think they have any tradition to lean back on and say, we can get this done, we can go ahead, and we can be a playoff team.
Coach Allen, it's obvious that the heart and soul of this Deltona team is their youth. They're led by a whole bunch of sophomores. Impressed by them so far?
Yeah, they've made some plays, and they've also left some plays out there, but they're not going to be able to you know, they had the botch kick. They've given SEABREEZE short fields, which you don't need to do that, provide that for SEABREEZE, especially with their quarterback coming back. And you can't give up. Every week we talk about turnovers and big plays, and you know, they housed them from, what, 61, I guess, and you're just not going to win football games against programs that you perennially have not beaten by doing those types of things. So they've got their work cut out for them here in the second half, and we'll see what the SANDCRABS dial up here, but I agree with Coach. I think they're going to stay in their spread stuff, their more traditional offense. I know that Coach Beach is much more comfortable calling plays from that and having the weapons that he is accustomed to have, namely a quarterback who can get those things done. It's a quarterback-driven offense.
Coach Holcomb, touchdown passing, touchdown rushing, a field goal. Jeremiah Wilson has played pretty well. Yeah, would you say that the rust has been shaken?
I think so. Yes, you know, he may still have some things to do, but yeah, he had to have some nerve. This is his first game of the season, and you know, after having to stand on the sideline all that time, but I think he's picked up the spirits of his teammates as well.
1 minute and 20 seconds to go before we start the second half of this district contest. It's SEABREEZE 17, Deltona nothing. Coach Allen just kind of taking a gander in front of us. Are you surprised? Just
got past that. I just hated it for the kids because they work so hard and they come out to perform, and you'd like to see more people out here watching them play.
17-0 your score. SEABREEZE leading Deltona. The Wolves will kick off to start the second half. Back deep to receive for SEABREEZE, Rashad Floyd and Javier Sylvester. We've seen a little bit more out of Rashad Floyd tonight than we have seen in the games of the past.
Looks a little more confident tonight. They've got him going a little bit. And, you know, anytime you're a wide out and your quarterback comes back, you know, obviously the issues have been not being able to distribute the ball from the quarterback position in a quarterback-driven offense. So, and we've seen in his body language his frustration, and then, like Coach pointed out, his lack of hustle. And, yeah, I think that he's been awakened. I think we saw in the little penalty that we had down here, and then they hit him on the screen. Then he brings it back and levels off and finishes a big run. So you can kind of see he feels a little bit better about things.
Set to kick off for the Wolves is their kicker. That's Fusa Habib. He'll be kicking off for the Wolves. The SEABREEZE return men will be at the 20 and 15-yard line.
Coach, having said that, though, I would kick, if I were going to kick the ball deep, I would kick the ball to 2 and not 4. Or
11.
There you go. He's going to crease him.
R.J. Stokes.
That was close.
On the return, he's going to take the ball up to the 50-yard line where the SANDCRABS will have 1st and 10 to start the second half. R.J.'s
one of the SEABREEZE sophomores that those guys really like. They think that he's got some potential to help them down the road.
Jeremiah Wilson will come back out under center for the Crabs. He will be joined in the backfield by Javier Sylvester. As you hear the roar of the motorcycles in the background during this Biketoberfest.
We're going to go rally to that and make sure, I'll tell you that. That has lateral written all over it.
Yeah, just up to that side judge, I guess, to make that call, and he called it forward pass incomplete, but very close to being a lateral fumble.
Nonetheless, it'll be second down for the SANDCRABS.
Here, this formation's been run left most, or run right away from the trips formation as far as the running game. Run faked it and then through the screen.
Tell you what,
to Floyd.
that is a football tackle out there, Coach. That is a great play. He doesn't make that play, that might go. Jeremiah does a great job of getting that ball out there. That thing had a bat down written all over it at the line of scrimmage.
Number 25, D'Eric McKinney on the stop. I'll do that for you, Coach Yoakum. He's a sophomore.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Another bloodline, cousin of Corey McKinney, great wideout that played at D-Land and also, I believe, at FIU.
Run left.